Oh, golly. Actually, my favorite one is one that my 8-year-old son, came up with. He was, he says, Chuck Norris eats bullets for breakfast. Watch out when he burps.
Do you know who started the Chuck Norris facts?
Because some college kid back east, and then but he just started a few of them. Then all of a sudden, everybody.
What's the one about water? Because I mean, everywhere I go, I hear people doing Chuck Norris facts.
I know. When I was in Iraq, shaking hands with these troops, I shook hands with 27,000 troops over there and took pictures with all of them. And they'd walk up to me and say, they'd tell me a Chuck Norris fact, and they'd start laughing. And then they said, "What's your favorite?" And I'm thinking, golly, I don't know. So when I got back home, I said, maybe I should write, put one out that, to kind of comes up with my favorite ones. Because, after writing Black Belt Patriotism, and now I've got the addition to that book coming out next month. It's nice to write a book where you can kind of laugh about it rather than dealing with all the...
Well, I definitely want to get you on next month, and maybe I can twist your arm for an extended interview because we're running out of time. We only got 15 minutes left. Chuck Norris is our guest, but I'm very excited about that second book. I love the last one, the Black Belt Patriotism. Now, Chuck, moving quick here. Specifically, government-run health care. They want us to be dependent. Medicare, Medicaid cuts, $41 billion out of Medicare alone, but they're going to put more people in Medicare, and it looks like it's going to pass. Ron Paul was on this Friday. He said, unfortunately, looks like it's probably going to pass.
Well, let it pass, and then believe me, everyone that puts their mark on that health care bill, we've got to get them out of office next year. That's going to be my campaign. I write weekly articles for WorldNet Daily, and I'm going to be hammering these guys. I'm going to be going after each and every one of them that passed this health care bill. Just think about this, Alex. Let's fix what is broken. Okay, 20% of the health care bill is broken, but leave the 80% alone. 80% of the people are happy with their health care. I'm happy with mine. So let's work on the 20% that isn't working. Rather than tearing it down. It reminds me, like if you have you have a flat on your car, right? But you decide to change all the tires and maybe put in a new motor, whether you need it or not. See, I believe that's what the government's thinking here.
Well, worse than that, they're going to take the motor out and fire machine gun bullets into it because it has a flat.
Exactly. And the thing is, it's not going to work. It's not going to work, and there's going to be a lot of hurting people because of this. And that's where my heart goes out. My heart goes out to the people that are going to be suffering from this.
Well, we're also, as you were saying to me during the break, we're also bankrupt, and it is in there to give the illegals health care. I mean, we can't take 20, 30 million people and give them free health care. I mean, we're going bankrupt.
Oh, absolutely. And the thing is, I think the biggest mistake government made is using all this stimulus money to shore up AIG, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, banks, cars, and all this stuff here. They should have been using all that stimulus money to shore up small business, so they can begin hiring back their employees. Our country survives on 80% of small business.
Yes.
80% of our economy, and so why in the world isn't the government? And of course, Obama's talking about it now, a year later. Well, I've got to help small business. Why didn't he start that, months and months ago if he had?
Well, let me throw this out at you, Chuck Norris.
Right now.
Sorry to interrupt. We just have limited time. If Ron Paul runs for president in the next year and a half, are you going to support him, or are you thinking about supporting him?
I love Ron Paul, but I have to be honest with you. I would like to have a younger president. When you get in your 70s, and I'm pushing 70, it's a tough grind. I would rather find someone like Ron Paul who can lead our country. And I'm still a Mike Huckabee fan. I really still believe that Mike Huckabee is the man to lead our country. And that's kind of the general consensus of the people in America. And I would love to have Ron Paul in a very prominent position in Washington, but not.
What kind of position, like Treasury Secretary?
Yeah, something like that. Something, because he's an honest man. Here's one of my favorite facts also, is America's not a democracy, it's a chuck-tatorship. and now, if that were true, Alex, I would go to Washington, I would line up every member of Congress, and I'd have Ron Paul, who I think is the most honest politician in Congress. I'd say, Ron, point out the honest and the dishonest politician. And we'd go down the aisle, and Ron would say, he's honest, this one's dishonest. I'd walk up to that person, and I'd say, you're fired. And if he didn't move immediately, I'd choke him unconscious and drag him over the aisle.
Chuck Norris is our guest. Chuck, shifting out of healthcare, obviously I agree with you. It's very unpopular in the polls. It's unconstitutional. The federal government's not supposed to be involved in healthcare, and we need to have recalls of these people, and we need to repeal it if they do pass it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's, the thing is, it's going to be a very trying 3 more years with the Obama administration. This is just the tip of the iceberg with this health care. This is just the beginning. If they pass this, then it's going to embolden them to pass a lot of other very devastating bills, such as cap and trade and a lot of the other things that's going to really negatively affect our country.
Chuck Norris, since you brought that up, I have the headline here: EPA threatens command and control economy to push climate change agenda. And that was in Associated Press. Another headline was Obama threatens command and control. He's saying if the Senate doesn't ratify Copenhagen, which openly establishes global government, according to the head of the UN, Ban Ki-moon, then he will order the bureaucracy to supersede Congress. That is a high crime. Ron Paul said last Friday that clearly is an impeachable offense. If Obama does implement Copenhagen without congressional approval, what do you think should be done?
I think then the Congress should impeach Obama. They have the right to. They can impeach him.
This is not an Obama dictatorship, is it?
No, it isn't. And but that's what he really wants. The thing, he's not concerned about 2012. By 2012, he wants to be able to be a lifetime member of the presidency.
Absolutely. Or have us in an emergency so bad that it's like Roosevelt, he just stays on.
Well, that's what they're doing. I know their game plan. It's all a con game. They're just trying to make our country so dependent on government that he can do whatever he wants to do to our country. I can see what he's doing here, and if we the people don't stand up and say enough is enough, and we're going to vote, you would say, like you say, Congress is now impotent. That Obama and his czars are the ones, and Rahm Emanuel and George Soros, they're the one running our country. And it's a sad situation right now.
That's what's incredible. George Soros will go before Congress and badmouth the banks when he is the biggest one involved in 1999 lobbying to get Clinton to change the rules, and it's his crew in there running the show right now.
Well, believe me, that's why they want a one world government, because they want a one world bank, and George Soros will be running that one world bank. That's his goal.
Chuck Norris is our guest. We've got about 10 minutes left with him. I want to play you 2 short clips. This is Herman Van Rompuy, the new head of the EU, calling for global government on BBC. Next is Al Gore. Here is Van Rompuy.
Our countries. 2009 is also the first year of global governance, with the establishment of the G20 in the middle of the financial crisis. The climate conference in Copenhagen is another step towards the global management of our planet.
Okay. Global government, global management. Next clip, Chuck, and I want your take on both of these. This is Al Gore calling for global governance around the environment. They're admitting this is their system for planetary government. Here it is.
But it is the awareness itself that will drive the change. And one of the ways it will drive the change is through global governance and global agreements.
Global governance.
The thing is, right now, Al Gore has become a multi-zillionaire because of this con game of global warming. The thing is, you ought to look outside my ranch right now. I'm freezing to death right now. It sure isn't warm right now here at the ranch. But the thing is, I think it's a global con game that Al Gore has initiated. And I'm sure he's used. He's probably in cahoots with George Soros and a lot of those people with the power and the money, and it's made him, probably a billionaire by now. And thing is, but $1 billion's not enough. once they get a little, they want a lot, and then they want it all. And that's what Al Gore, George Soros, Barack Obama, that's what they want. They want total control over the world, and especially on the United States of America. And it's heading in that direction, Alex. Believe me, it's heading in that direction. And if we don't do something about it, the people don't rise up, we're going to have a revolution in our country. Because once the government comes in and starts dictating us how we can raise our children, putting us in jail if we don't send our kids to school to learn what homosexuality is all about and how to use condoms properly, they're going to put you in jail.
Well, Chuck, in 2000, I covered Fiskgate when it first broke that they were taking 14-year-olds to a dorm with beds. And I had stations got angry when I played the audio tapes. This person is now the school czar.